Hey y'all, have you ever seen the movie Doctor Strange? Yeah, me neither. But there's this one part that I love. Doctor Strange, trying to be a bit funny, says something ridiculous. And when he doesn't get a laugh, he says, people normally laugh at my jokes. To which the other character responds, do those people work for you? Y'all, it is time to embrace, and I mean truly embrace, the scariest F word in the workplace: feedback. Here's the deal. If someone works for you, they may only be giving you super safe, non-critical feedback. Or even worse, they might be telling you what they think you want to hear. And it's not their fault. Negative previous workplace experiences, or the desire to maintain a peaceful workplace, or the very wise instinct to protect one's own personal livelihood. All of these reasons are why employees do not give critical feedback to their leaders and managers. So, unless you are explicitly asking for feedback and making it safe for your people to do so, you might be walking around with spinach in your teeth, and no one is telling you. Just imagine all of the information that you might be missing. There's no way we can do all that for a client on this timeline and still make a profit. You've been pronouncing my name wrong for 2 years. Have you noticed that people of color only stay around for 1 year tops? I have some insight on that if you're willing to hear it. Half of your staff is looking for a new job because you are killing us with your dad jokes. You see it now, right? These types of insights could significantly shape your leadership, shift your team culture, and grow your business. So before we dive into embracing the F word, let's do a quick exercise to see how feedback feels to you. Here's a scale from 1 to 10. I'd like you to locate yourself on the scale in response to a question. Bonus points if you actually stand up and move along the scale. Okay, here's the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being terribly and totally uncomfortable, and 10 being absolutely and amazingly comfortable, how comfortable are you receiving critical feedback from your team? Yep. I'm talking about critical feedback here, y'all, because it's the spinach. We need to know about the spinach, right? Okay, so for the folks that are hanging out on the lower end of the scale, thanks for being honest. I bet that if I was to survey your team and ask them how comfortable they were giving you direct feedback, their response would be similar to yours. Why? Well, their discomfort is oftentimes a reflection of or in response to your discomfort. Okay, now let's go to the people on the higher end of the scale. That's great that you feel so comfortable receiving critical feedback. And I am a little bit curious. Does this mean that you're explicitly asking for feedback regularly? Asking about your blind spots, where you might be falling behind, that kind of thing? Well, it's not super formal, but my team knows they can talk to me. Unless you are explicitly asking for feedback, how do you really know that they're giving you the harder to hear feedback? So how do we get the critical feedback that we want? Here's a 4-part strategy to start developing that practice. Number 1, ask them. Think of an open-ended question, anything really that prompts solid feedback about how you're doing as a leader or a manager. Here are 2 to get you thinking. It could be as simple as, what's one thing that I could do better as your manager? Or, can you name one thing that I could change to help me lead differently and improve our team culture? Starting with a bite-sized question allows your team the opportunity to build trust in the process while you build resilience for hearing critical feedback about your own work. Number 2, schedule it. Have a conversation with everyone on your team about how you're doing as a manager or leader, and do this at least quarterly. And by schedule it, I really mean schedule it. Put a meeting on the calendar of you and each of your team members and let them know what you're going to be doing. This gives them time to prepare, and it holds you accountable to actually sitting down and listening to their feedback. Number 3, think on it. After hearing from your team, let them know that you're going to be sitting with their feedback. Unless, of course, it's about something super simple like the spinach, which you can and should remove immediately. Y'all, this might be the most important part of the process, and it can be the scariest. Taking time to think before you respond allows you to work through any discomfort or defensiveness that you might experience. And while it may be so tempting to name all of the reasons why you're not doing the thing that was named to you by your staff person because you're trying your very hardest to do the best that you can for the agency or the business, stop and think on it. Responding defensively or even dismissing the feedback will train your team not to speak hard truths. And as a leader, it is your job to build your capacity to hear and honor hard feedback. So think on it. And number 4, report back. Let your team know what you'll be doing with their feedback. Again, you're building trust here, so be deliberate. You could say, I've really been sitting with what you shared with me, and I'm not sure that I'm able to address this on my own. So I'm going to bring in some support to help us work through this together. Or, back to our earlier example, every person on this team is more important to me than my beloved dad jokes. So today, I am officially giving up my dad jokes. And that's a good start to embracing the big, bad F word. Ask them, schedule it, think on it, and report back. And then, what's next? Keep practicing this so that it becomes commonplace in your meetings, your email communication, all of your communication, so that it just becomes not a big deal. If you're able to do that, then the conversations that are a big deal can actually happen. Now that you've done this, how about trying it out with your team? What if you sent an email saying something like this? Hey y'all, I just watched a video about the importance of asking for critical feedback. So at our next meeting, I would love it if you would give me one thing that would be helpful for me to improve on to be better as a manager for you. And after you do that, you know we want to hear about it. So put it in the comments in our social media or send us an email. We always want to know about you taking another step into right relationship in the workplace. Psst. Psst. If this helped you rethink how you show up as a leader or manager, how about working with us in our Being Human Management training or one-on-one with management mentoring? Learn all about it at our website at intorighrelationship.com. We really hope to work with you soon.